Oh, I can't wait to get you to the Gabba, Wokesy, Joss, Moeen. I know you're not coming, Moeen. I just want to take you there. Does this count? Oh, you got your little World Cups, do you? Yeah, well, the game was on at 1 a.m. here, so, we couldn't even watch it unless you're in Perth or you really care about it. So does this T20 World Cup count? Welcome back to the Great Cricket, the morning after World Cup. 2 boys, 1 World Cup. Just going to keep saying multiple names over and over again. Brought to you by ACO, India's leading digital insurance company. My name is Ian Higgins. Pezzy lad has been swept away down the peninsula. Pez, you wake up in the morning sometimes, you think, I wonder what happened in the cricket last night. Mate, what the fuck happened in the cricket last night?
Morning, Higgos. G'day, everybody out there. Well, it's a mixture of emotions, isn't it? Because now we're into the kind of Lord of the Flies social hierarchy game. I'm going to try and come across like we're taking it in our stride, all having a laugh, etc. And deep down, I'm very upset and I'm very angry. And I understand now that there's an interplay with the English fans. They're going to be getting entertainment out of that. But I don't want to show anything, and yet at the same time, I want to be authentic. I'm absolutely ropeable. So I don't. Look, I think I do know what happened, but here in Australia, you're meant to say like, it's just a World Cup. Oh yeah, 5-0. 6-0. I just had a sip of Schweppes lemonade.
I'll put to you in grey terms what happened last night, Pez. Good toss to win. I just want to try and find little avenues to really diminish this performance. I got to tell you, what a time to be alive if you're an expat living in Dubai, where the game was last night. I mean, fucking hell, absolutely sensational, hot. Your team's doing well. You're seeing sixes, you're seeing wrongans, you're seeing catches. You're seeing your team beat the colony. That's a great time to be a cricket fan for England, and good luck to them. So, good toss to win. Let's just diminish their performance entirely, because this is now I think it's 12th time out of 14 that the team in the World Cup has chased in fucking Dubai wins. And that makes it now 14 out of 18 this year, including the second repechage of the IPL as well. So batting second seems to work. But I reckon England could have batted third or fourth and still won this game.
Mate.
In like a week and a half. If it turned into a T10, they probably could have snuck over the line. But, good toss to win.
Yeah, mate, exactly. If only Australia had won the toss, I think we would have seen a completely different game. I see in the press there's a lot of chat about, selections and tactics and stuff like that, mate. Australia could have had 4 more batters. They're like, they've gone scorcher's ball. They actually just played 6 bats, so it wasn't really enough. They needed a little bit more. They could have played 4 or 5 more bats. They could have played every bowler in the land at the top of their game, and I think England gets that done in 12 or 13 overs. Australia's issues run much deeper than any of that sort of nuanced tactical shit. And by the same token, England are excellent at white ball cricket.
They're sensational, yeah. I mean, I did think it looked a little bit green early on for me, but I do take your point.
It did a bit early. Yeah,
that's right. That's right. Just for Australia's innings, that sort of flattened out after the change of innings. Now, if you're enjoying Australia's failure, please do like the video. Click subscribe if you're enjoying more failures, because hey, there may be more to come. But I can't fucking wait to get you to the Gabba. Pez, the first of the 3 things: the WOAKES movement. I know he hasn't got man of the match. I think someone who decides these things just looks at the bowling figures. That's a low score for Australia. Oh, Chris Jordan did well. Chris Jordan did play well, but WOAKES is by far the standout of the match for me anyway. 2 for 9 in his first 3 overs. He gets Warner, he gets Maxwell. At the end of his first spell, Australia 3 for 15. He also takes a spectacular one-handed catch at mid-on to get rid of Steve Smith. It's just WOAKES, and it's all from a guy. This is all part of the... we're going to come to the discrepancy, the distance between Australia and England white ball cricket, but this is part of WOAKES hasn't played T20I cricket from 2015 until the beginning part of this year. Hasn't played for England in T20s, and he's just an absolute star in this World Cup. He's doing great things for Delhi as well, but he won the game in 18 balls.
Mate, I don't know how to analyse that without going into Australia v England white ball shit, because WOAKES can come in and out of that side because there's a deeper philosophy and methodology to it. But in and of himself, he's just a sensational cricketer, isn't he? The way he came back into the India series from injury for a long time, good with the ball, good with the bat, screamer of a catch. I don't really know what other superlatives exist. I mean, he doesn't look like he should be a particularly like standout cricketer at the pace that he bowls, and it's levers, but it's not great levers. It's power, but it's not great power.
It's salad.
It's athletic. It's athletic, but it's not great athleticism. Yeah, it's an okay salad. No more, no less. But he manages to dust Australia the last few times that he's played us, and fair play to him. That's I suppose conventionally that's an off cutter to get rid of Warner, but to the left hander it's a leg cutter. Warner just walking at him, too good. I don't really know what else there is to say.
I also liked how, again, this goes into a deeper malaise of Australian cricket compared to England's actualised white ball program.
Yes.
Australia's still doing split sets routine. That's their program. It's a gym program.
You don't do that anymore. Fuck.
So Adil Rashid opening the bowling in the power play ahead of Moeen Ali, and they've liked that matchup there where they've done some numbers where they wanted Rashid to bowl to Finch because Finch against off spinners has a really good record, whereas against leg spinners got out 417 times in the month of March when they play on Wednesdays or that kind of gear. But they've changed that matchup, and Abdul Rashid bowls really well. Moeen Ali's been their best player. Well, he's been their best bowler so far in this tournament of the previous two games. He gets a TFC award. Thanks for coming today. Just pay your subs. Get out of there. I hope you brought tea, Moeen. And it's like, and Rashid gets Stoinis with the wrong end. He does well on the power play. It's like this team is just so far ahead of Australia. I mean, we've been calling this for ages, but when it's ever present like this, and as I said, the game was over so quickly. I mean, especially with the record of Dubai and England's power in the batting and all this kind of stuff. I mean, Australia had to win that game. They have to score about 190, probably 200, and you got to score runs at the top. Maxwell's obviously a huge part of that for Australia. Same with Finch and Warner. They're all gone in the first 15 minutes of the game. Adil Rashid bowling really well. Chris Jordan comes in, bowls some good Yorkers. Tamal Mills has been a great player as well, and he had a bit of a less important role, I suppose, in today's game. But England's bowling fucking good, and they've blasted another team out, another 10-wicket performance because they bowled the West Indies out. They bowled Australia out. Took them 20 overs. But England are good is what I'm saying.
Mate, it's one of those scenarios where Australians now hope that England do this to absolutely everybody, which is not to be confused with the Vanessa Amorosi song.
They
want the
Vanessa Amorosi song, mate.
They want the Vanessa Amorosi approach to this, where England smash absolutely everybody all the way through. So Australia are just another carcass on the ground, and they're just like everybody else. Oh, mate, it is really important to note how good England are, but until we see how they perform against other similarly resourced nations, we're not going to know how good Australia is or shit. Mm-hmm. Do you know? England seem to be dusting everybody, but it may be that when England come up against other good nations that have money and that have a program, as you say, there are close matches, and all that really means is, what the fuck is wrong with Australia?
Yeah. Let's go into the second thing then, Pez.
Yep.
He's my favourite guy to watch. Give me some Buttler runs.
Yeah.
Oh, this was a treat. This was something for the eyes. I like to treat certain parts of my body, limbs, organs, this sort of thing with different trappings. And this was a real this was a real treat for the eyes. Joss Buttler, 71 red ink off 32 balls. He's hitting some of the cleanest bombs off Stark in particular. Of actually all of them. Cummins, Zampa, Agar. Not Hazelwood, though. No sixes off Hazelwood, so well bowled Hoff. A win there. Small win. Got to take the wins where you can get them. Mate, stable base. Stark over wide mid-on. One of the sixes was 105 metres. Oh, give it to me all day, baby. It looks fucking good.
Real gorgeous stuff. Fast twitch, with Buttler. I noticed that he was, circumspect start, 9 off 10, then finished with 71 off 32. So he's hit 62 off 22. Fucking lol. In doing so, just absolutely destroying Australia's net run rate.
Yeah.
It feels like it's been a minute for Joss Buttler.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit, but it was that's the Buttler we know and love. That's peak Buttler stuff. And yeah, you know, well, no, I was going to say you have to enjoy it. You don't have to enjoy it. You know, my wife is currently learning about higher and secondary order defense mechanisms at the moment. The highest order defense mechanism, pardon me, is stuttering. No, is humor. But we could just one of the lowest ones is denial, and so we could just say, "Well, Butler's shit. See how he goes at the Gabba," and maybe we will.
Yeah.
But the truth is, he was amazing, and in its own right, it was great to watch. And I'm sure it was even better to watch if you were supporting England, which most people would have been.
Exactly. Yeah. Are we the bad guys, mate? I mean, how are the hands on it? Just getting through the ball. I mean, the base is everything, but the hands are again just a real treat for my eyes, and I'll be taking that home for Christmas and distributing those out as gifts for my nephews and nieces.
Well, mate, as everybody knows, you do treat your different body parts with different trappings, as you said earlier. So that's.
This year, I'm giving my 7-year-old niece Josh Butler's hands.
He was a sick man, Ian Higgins. He went to jail for about 40 years because he found Josh Butler. He chopped off his hands, wrapped them up, but put him in ice, of course, and gave them to his niece. This is Josh Butler's hands. Beautiful hands.
Look how fast they go through the ball.
Attach them to your own. See if you...
Mate, I couldn't think of, when I was just thinking about like what words to assign this innings, I was just thinking clinic. This was a fucking clinic of just, it's not just the power, it's the skill of it. He maneuvers the ball so well. You know, Jason Roy had a good role as well. He got 22 off 20, something like that. And a shout out for YJB as well, young Johnny Burstow, 16 off 11. He gave Butler a little wink after he just slog-swept Zampa down for 6. It's like, yeah, I've got this covered. I fucking love everything about him. But, you know, this is again, we're getting into the main point about the, you know, discrepancies between two teams. But, like, look who's to come. I mean, this is another great game for England because Owen Morgan doesn't have to bat. But he was in next. You got Liam Livingston, who might be one of the cleanest hitters of the ball ever. Moeen Ali after him. And then I'll pay Chris Jordan as a good run scorer as well. But that's all to come, and they just fucking haven't used any of them. I mean, it's just that this was a clinic.
Oh, it was a thrashing, mate. Like, I mean, it was a brutal thrashing. It really, it struggles to get more one-sided than that. You know, the least that you hang on to when you get bowled out, as Australia was bowled out in 20 overs for 120, is that it might be a tough scoring wicket. And these guys would have made 250. I mean, Aaron Finch said afterwards in mitigation, which is all he can do, that they went searching for wickets. So, you know, do they change their lengths and bowl sort of lower percentage deliveries? Okay, mate, yeah, maybe they did. And see, that's why it was actually a lot closer than what you realise. Yeah. So I'm just going to flip back into a bit of denial now.
Yeah, I would have... If I was Finch, I would have taken out the second slip when Butler got to his 50. But you know, that's just me and my tactics. Let's get into the third thing, Pez. I want you in particular to compare and contrast England and Australia's white ball cricket. So this is on the back for me. This is on the back of what happened in the 2019 World Cup where, okay, yes, Australia did actually beat England in the group stage of that tournament, but then it got to the semi-final, and these two games are actually quite similar. 2019 World Cup, 50-over World Cup semi-final, Australia got fucking spanked. I think that was by 8 wickets as well, from memory, but it was a demolition, and 2 years later, you know, a very similar thing. And it feels to me like Australia still turn up to these white ball programs, having never really played together. You're still picking guys who you recognise the names, and you just a bit of legacy stuff, you know. It's like we're just still picking guys who are like, they'll do something. And a lot of those times they will do something because Australia do have good players. But the difference in Australia's white ball program and England's is fucking miles apart. And England have done so well now for the best part of, well, basically since the 2015 World Cup.
I think that's good analysis, and you get frustrated at it because it's okay for a team to be better than another team, but over a sustained period of time, what you're looking at is two countries that are similarly resourced who have gone about this format in completely different ways, and games like last night are no coincidence. You know, there are games in T20 cricket, and this is why everyone will be reluctant to completely write off Australia because someone might do something.
Yeah.
But games like last night are in their own way predictable. They are a result of the investment in white ball cricket and the approach to white ball cricket, a divergent approach to white ball cricket between both countries. Australia, you'd hope, would be able to say in mitigation, well, they focused on white ball cricket, got the rewards, but look at their test team, to which you would then say, so where's our test team? I know we're pretty pump at that too. Mate, I wrote something down. In white ball cricket, England have created a seasoned, cohesive unit with a method and a philosophy that allows flexibility for players to drop in and out. You saw that with WOAKES. Stokes and Archer aren't even there. Guys can come in and out. It doesn't rely. It's not kind of key person reliant. Maybe Owen Morgan for captaincy, but that's about it. They create the fullest expression of the available players' talents, and the whole is a beautiful thing. They are alchemy. Australia is the opposite. For the past 2 World Cups, as you said, mate, that the strategy has been to cobble together enough stars to do enough to save face. There's no overarching plan. There's no identity. There's no way of playing. They just trust a handful of individual performances to paper over deeper structural cracks. And it largely does, especially in our media, especially if the games are on at a time when we're asleep. We just go,
Mate.
See you at the Gabba. Just finally, mate, like in international terms, the white ball games passed Australia by many, many years ago. Australia might still scrape into the next round, but this was a structural planning strategic failure before it began. It's not good enough for a country that's systemically advantaged compared to many other countries with as much talent as anyone else. South Africa, we got away with it. Sri Lanka, well, more Sri Lankan players want to play for Mulgrave CC. These are the games where Australia is measured, and they are woefully short.
Yeah, I think that's right, mate. And I think that like the likeliness is that Australia still qualifies for a semi-final. They probably only need one more win, and they play against West Indies and Bangladesh. And the West Indies game isn't in Dubai, which would be important. So I think playing against Bangladesh in Dubai will help. And if they win that toss and they chase and blah blah blah, they probably get through a net run rate, and we'll make a semi-final, and they'll be like, good enough. Like it's about what we expected, But how important that's when we beat South Africa, a pretty ordinary South African team, really. How important that is in the context of all of this now. But like we've been saying this, we said this in the preview of this game. We're saying like, can Australia beat England? Yeah. Maxwell might do something, but England are a better team. That's exactly what's happened. Anyway, hashtag AskTGC brought to you by ACO. Michael Penhale wrote in via Twitter, Pez. He said, which is better, a batter scoring a ton and a losing cause, or a bowler taking a hat-trick and still seeing his side lose? Hashtag AskTGC. This is on the back of Hasaranga. He took 3 for 20 against South Africa in the other game, which was actually a belting game in the end. David Miller and Rabada got they needed 22 off 9 at one point, and they got it home with 1 ball to spare. But HASARANGA obviously joins the now famous trio of Brett Lee, Curtis Campher, and Wanindo HASARANGA de Silva as the 3 bowlers to get hat-tricks in T20 World Cup. So that should be a T-shirt somewhere, I would have thought. What's better, Pez? Hat-trick in a losing team or 800?
I struggle with this being a conversation, he goes. I mean,
yeah, same.
Which is better, as in better for the player themselves. I mean, there's we've said many times, there is no greater performance in cricket, politically, culturally, socially, spiritually, perhaps even economically, than a ton in a losing side. Hat-tricks might be rarer, but they can be very forgettable, and they can, it's three nondescript deliveries where something, something has happened or something's come together that's statistically rare. 100, you're out there for a really long time. You're sweating, you're grunting. I don't know why. It's just a word that came into my head. And the ability to heap scorn and smugness on your teammates is unrivaled in that situation. So I think there's a big gap. You can get a hat-trick and bowl pretty shit too. So...
Oh, yeah, exactly. I think in T20 cricket, because hundreds are so rare, I think that like the best thing that you could get in T20 cricket would be like hitting 30 off the last over and falling 1 run short, and then getting back into those sheds and being like, sorry boys, only hit 5 sixes in this over. I did my bit. What the fuck were the rest of you coats doing?
You left me a bit to do.
Why are you grunting at me? I'm a bore, you see.
I got a protractor out, and the angle of your side smile is quite high.
Hey, there's a big game happening tonight. Basically, a knockout game between New Zealand and India. The loser, more or less, can't really make the semi-final. So, a big one. We'll be back, of course, for the morning after World Cup tomorrow. The main podcast is also tomorrow as well. So, stick it right here. Thanks as ever for watching, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.